right, everybody. I want to welcome you back to another podcast of When Does the Fuckery End? I have a special guest with me today. His name is Josh Ekoff. He is a JCS hero. I hate saying the word, but he is just like I am. He was actually the first that was donated. You hear me talk a lot about it, and they're one of the best organizations in the St. Louis area for us. But you know how we usually started off? We started off with a shot of Screwball, so here we go. Everybody, cheers.
Yep.
Touché.
Skål. That's delicious.
You want to take that from him?
Oh, I do.
No, you're going to make him struggle? Way to go. Now you're fired, see?
I knew to get
Kyle
fired
got
today.
fired right at the beginning of the episode. Well, anyway, we're going to jump right into this. Usually I go through a bunch of the foundations and stuff, but I'm going to wait till the end again to go through that because I want Josh to be able to tell you his story. Josh has become a good friend of mine since we've met in the JCS, and he's got a story to tell. He's a Purple Heart veteran, just like I am, Bronze Star veteran. We will, give him the fact that he was in the Army, but I'll let him get into his story. So, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up.
I grew up here in St. Louis. I grew up 5 houses down from the room we're sitting in. After I was injured, I was able to buy a house 5 houses down from the house I grew up in. So my mom just lives down the street, which is convenient given the fact that I don't drive.
Yeah.
With my injuries, I'll never be able to do that again. So it's really a blessing that she's so close and able to take me to the grocery store and do the little run into doctor's appointments and such.
So being your caregiver is a huge part for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I myself have a caregiver because I'm missing my arms and legs, and having a caregiver and the VA support of that caregiver program has really helped out both of us, as obviously as you can tell.
Both our recoveries.
But let's get a little bit into your story of what happened to you in the military before we get into your background, so people kind of know what we're dealing with here. They obviously know that my arms and legs were blown off, but Josh has a unique story because he's different than I am, but he was also injured while he was in the military. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit about that.
Okay, I was on my second combat tour in Iraq in 2007 and 2008 on a combat mission doing route clearance when we had cleared our route and turned around to drive back to Camp Liberty in Baghdad where I was stationed. When a armor-defeating device penetrated my armored vehicle and concaved my Kevlar helmet into the right hemisphere of my brain. So I'm actually missing part of the right hemisphere of my brain. It's a severe traumatic brain injury, which has left me with stroke-like symptoms and the fact that I can't use the left side of my body like I did before.
Oh, yeah? So, but you do a lot of things now, though, right? I
don't let it keep me down.
Oh, okay. Well, why doesn't it keep you down, Josh? Tell us a little bit about that.
Too much life to live left.
Okay, so what do you do now?
I was 23 when I was injured. I'm currently writing a book about my service, my injury, and my recovery. It's basically finished. It's to the publisher now, so that's to come.
Do we have a title that we can give out that maybe people can look for?
You don't have to tell us.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up.
I forgot. That's that TBI stuff. But okay, so you were in the Army. What rank did you reach?
Staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant. And how long did that take you?
8 years.
8 years to staff sergeant. That's not that bad. That's pretty good in the Army. What made you decide to want to join the Army, Josh?
You mean the branch specifically, or just to go into the military?
Both.
Okay. Well, I always knew I wanted to serve, and
because he was in the Air Force and he's an ass. So
when it was time to serve, I knew the best place for me was the Army. It was the best branch.
Yeah. Okay. So people who are listening, me and Josh go back and forth about this all the time. He tells me I eat crayons, and I tell him the Army ain't ready to be Marines yet. I mean, a couple galas we've gotten into it, but anyway, go ahead, Josh.
I always knew I wanted to be a soldier. So it was a natural progression for me from the time I joined before I graduated from high school.
Okay, so did you do like ROTC or?
Well, no, I joined the Missouri Army National Guard. So I joined when I was a junior in high school, and I went and did my training before my senior year. And then I graduated, and I was already accepted to my university, University of Missouri St. Louis, all expecting to do my freshman year there, and I got my first orders for Iraq in 2003 and 2004.
Okay. And so, once again, why'd you pick the Army?
It had all of the best benefits for what I wanted to do. It made sense monetarily. They were going to give me the most money for education when I went to the varying recruiters.
See, people, he was smart. Me being a Marine, we like to give each other the back and forth between the branches.
It's just brotherly love time.
Oh, it definitely is. It's like a society all within a society, but then you have branches inside that society where it's like, okay, you know what? You're on the left wing, I'm on the right wing. I don't like the left wing, but any civilian makes fun of the left wing, we're going after them together.
Right.
So tell me, Josh, what do you do for fun now?
I really love to exercise, so anything to get my heart rate up. I like to cycle, weight lift, things like that.
Yeah.
I ran my first 5K after my injury, after they said I'd never walk again.
Really? Where was that at?
Here in St. Louis, I rehabbed in Minneapolis for about 13 months after I was injured. I woke up, I had a tube in my stomach, I couldn't speak or swallow. So I relearned everything in Minneapolis, and when I finally made it back to St. Louis, I made it my goal to run my first 5K. I said I'm going to run again. The VA said, no, we can't make you run again. I said, well, watch me. So the VA discharged me from physical therapy, so I went out and found a personal trainer that would teach me how to run again.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that just goes to speak volumes about the military, because I myself, when they told me that I was never going to do anything again, or that it would take me 4 years to get out of the hospital, I ended up running a 4K or a 5K when I left the hospital of Walter Reed. I told them, I said, I'm running out of here. They told me it was going to take 4 years for me to get out of the hospital. And I was like, I'm running out of this bitch. Next thing I know, I'm running a 5K in New York called the Hopes and Possibilities Run. And I'm the only quadruple amputee to ever finish that run.
That's amazing.
Well, what's amazing is I hear you do a lot of bicycling.
Well, JCS has what we call the Bike for the Heroes event, where we raise money for the charity. Mm-hmm. So every year I get a team together of cyclists, and I generally do the 80-mile course.
Oh my god!
This year I was supposed to do the 100-mile course, but gave myself a second brain injury by putting my head into a wall.
Okay, and so you also go to a program that I went through, DASA.
I don't work with DASA anymore. I did work with DASA is who I worked with when I did my 5K.
Okay, and for those people who don't know what DASA is, what's DASA, Josh?
It's a disabled.
I don't know what the acronym.
Athlete Sports Association.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I used to play. I go through them for rugby, wheelchair rugby. So
right.
They're a good program that helps out a lot of injured veterans, but they also help out people that aren't injured veterans.
They do. They help out a lot of disabled children or children with
sports activities and things.
Right. Just to get them active and get them doing things that make them feel like normal kids. Let them go out and run a race or something like that.
Yeah. So, Josh, here's the thing. We're sitting here and we're talking about things that go back and forth. Let us know, what was it like for you in the Army? What did you enjoy? What were the things? Tell us some stories, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Well, I loved the adventure of all the different missions. I mean, my job specifically, I would go out under the cover of darkness and look for bombs in a war zone. So I'm like, well, yeah, that's a great idea, Josh. Let's go do it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go look for bombs. And for people, that's crazy because I've done it too. You're stabbing for a bomb and you're like, found it. Right. Things like that. It's people don't understand that. So, I mean, give us a little history about yourself and some stories about the military.
Well, I did my basic in AIT at Fort Leonard Wood here in Missouri. My first tour in Iraq was relatively incident-free. We were responsible for training new Iraqi security forces, and we did a lot of convoy security ops. So I was a 50 gunner on my first tour, and then I came home. I was like, well, this is the life for me. I got to go back. So immediately I started trying to find a way back to the war zone. So I volunteered for this mission-specific training at Fort Leonard Wood to be qualified to look for the roadside devices. And once I got that qualification, I volunteered to change units to find a unit that was getting ready to deploy to go back. So
I'm listening to Josh's stories and I'm looking at him as we're sitting here. And for people who aren't, we need to start recording this stuff. But this is a giant man. This man is like, what, 6'4"?
6'3".
6'3", fucking probably around 230 pounds.
Of muscle.
Of muscle. Like, just straight. And he's got a bald head, scars on it from where like he said, where his injury was. I mean, just a massive man that, like, I wouldn't want to fight this man.
Definitely not.
You don't pitch in as much anymore, Kyle.
Well, this is about you two at this point.
It's not about us two. It's about all of us. And so I'm just trying to get Josh to open up. That's why I got to keep asking questions. So I'm like hoping Josh opens up a little more.
What?
Maybe we should do another shot of screwball.
I mean, that's up to you. Yeah.
Huh?
If we should.
If we should.
You get them ready, and
I'll
I'll keep talking.
Well, I got a question then. What was your favorite incident in your first deployment? Like a story, like your favorite moment.
My first deployment, my favorite incident would have been just the opportunities to interact with the Iraqis. I was generally one of the first American soldiers any of these Iraqis had ever met, and so they were thankful for their liberation because we had just taken Saddam out. And I remember there was a child that hadn't eaten. He came up and shared my MRE with me, and I was, I'm a kid. So I feel like this is a human moment that I can share with another human being. He's not my enemy. Yes, he was Iraqi, but he wasn't a combatant.
Right. And that's the weird part. And when you say human moment, that's the hard thing for a lot of people to understand, because when you're overseas, and Josh can contest to this, like, you're not a human at that point. You're trying to survive. You're there to survive, and when the kids interact with you and stuff, it's something special, because it's like being back home again, playing with your nieces and nephews and doing what you can, and it makes you feel good about what you're doing. But there's a lot of other bad stuff, and having those human moments is a huge part of keeping us sane while we're there, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And even once we come home to look back on our experiences, I know some of the things I did were hard to live with, and then to be able to look back on that moment and say, well, there were a few glimmers of hope in there.
Right. All right, so we're going to do this another shot, and we're going to get Josh a little looser here, and we're going to figure out more about Josh here in a second. So here we go. Your mom's going to kill me, Josh.
I don't think so.
I know so.
Ready?
It's cool. So smooth and delicious.
Okay, so we've learned
Thank you.
about Josh and his past. He's very blunt about what he says. He's very to the point. So I'm trying to figure out how to open Josh up. So I talk a lot about JCS. So when I do that, what has JCS done for you, Josh?
As the first hero, JCS was basically it was a combat multiplier for my recovery. So I came back to the States, and I rehabbed in Minneapolis for over a year. When I was finally ready to discharge out there, I couldn't move home because I had to move back in with my folks because I wasn't independent enough with my injuries to live on my own. And before I could move in with them, they had to have an ADA accessible bathroom. And the VA had grants and such for these kinds of things, but it would have been a lot of red tape and a long time to wait. And basically, the VA was ready to get rid of me up there. They said, you got to go.
Wait, the VA told you had to go?
Well, the way the rehab hospital works up there, you've got a certain amount of goals to achieve. And once they've made you as well as you're going to be, it's not like a residency program. So they don't give you a room in the basement to just hang out. And for good reason. They've got other veterans they have to serve. So they didn't really kick me out per se, but the Army was involved at this point too, saying we've got to find the next step.
Next step for you and what we're going to do.
Right, and how are we going to make this soldier's life better from this point on? Mm-hmm. And for me, that was coming home. I couldn't move home because my parents didn't have a bathroom for me to use. So I was home on like a pass or visit or something, and I met Matt Cutler, the founder of JCS, for coffee one day, and he told me about his vision for the charity. And the rest of the time, he wanted to know about my injury and how it was going to affect the rest of my life. And I told him about our issue with the bathroom. And before I even flew back to Minneapolis for that like weekend pass, I had a guarantee that the bathroom was going to be taken care of. And that was my ticket home to come back to St. Louis and be with my family and continue my recovery here, which, as you know, is so important because you can't. You feel cut off when you're in these rehab facilities by yourself, and you know that better than I do because you went through more than I did.
No, don't say that, buddy. Don't say that. Your struggles are yours and mine are mine, but we are making it together. But so don't ever say mine are worse than yours.
No, I wasn't saying worse. I just mean you.
I get it.
You probably had more rehab than I did.
Oh no, I said fuck them and I left. But that's just me. But that's see, people, when you listen to these podcasts, and I'm gonna try to get more injured veterans on, like Josh and the other JCS heroes, like they like to call them, which I don't. But you're gonna learn a lot about people that went and served their country and now are under these detriments that your life is fucking easy here. I think in America, people have it jaded sometimes. They feel like that they're owed something, and you're not owed anything. When you came back, did you feel like anybody owed you anything? Because
Absolutely
when I came back, I didn't feel that way.
I came home and people wanted to buy me a coffee in the airport, and I was grateful, no, obviously. Right? Yeah, but I would be like, I don't need your charity.
Right.
But I'm grateful for the coffee, so 9 times out of 10 I'd take it.
Right. Well, I got yelled at by a lot of people too because they were like, just take it because they don't know how else to help. So I had to learn that too. But it's like we went and did this, Josh, me and you, different branches, not expecting anything from anyone. And then when you come home injured, for a while, everybody was like, let me help you, let me help you, let me help you. And it's like, at some point, you have to learn that I don't know how to say this in the polite way, that we want to be independent too. Sometimes it's okay to ask for help, and it's better to ask for help than give help. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think what you're trying to get at is that sometimes when you see an injured veteran struggling, you've got to give him the space to figure it out.
Exactly. You just said it perfectly.
Because 9 times out of 10, he's going to accomplish that mission.
He will. And if he needs help, he will ask. Because
sometimes
I know me, when I start getting frustrated, then I go, all right, someone fucking do this for me because I'm fucking done.
I've been there.
I've been there. We've been there a lot of times, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh. So we're in your beautiful home. You said you got a gym in the basement. Mm-hmm. You do a lot of exercise and stuff. So
I just try to. I was grossly overweight after my injury. I was in my wheelchair and I couldn't do any physical. I couldn't really do any physical activity. I got to about 300 pounds. I said that's enough.
You were 300 pounds?
I was 300 pounds. 300
no fucking
plus.
Way.
You knew me when I was 300
no,
plus.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Maybe I was drunk.
Well, of course
always.
You were drunk.
Okay, we can agree to that then. But yeah, you look great now. You're fit. Like I said, he's like a 6'4", 230-pound monster. Well, don't laugh. Say something.
What do you want me to say?
For anybody who doesn't, me and Josh used to go back. Joshua Chamberlain Society has these galas every year. And I would show up, and me and Josh, I had met him only just a couple times, but I was a Marine, he was Army, and me and him were getting wasted, and everybody else was like, fuck it. So we would start going back and forth with each other, man, but we had a great time. And like I said,
we even did it at the trivia night once or twice.
Yeah, the trivia night was fun too, because you didn't You sucked. Just kidding.
What was the trivia night?
Oh, just another fundraiser we had for the charity, and we still have it on occasion.
Do you do the shotgun shoot?
Oh yeah, I love the shoot.
I
I
can't.
can't.
I go
can't
every
shoot,
year. And
I can't shoot personally because I don't have use of my left arm.
I tried one time.
I've tried a couple times with one arm.
No, I tried, and my hook came off, and the shotgun went down and hit the ground and went off in the air. And I said, "That's the last time I tried doing a shotgun shoot." They were like, "No more." I was like, "All right, yeah, you guys win." But so, Josh, tell us about your family life, your lifestyle growing up. Like, what was childhood for you? What was,
Well, I grew up with a very, very supportive family. My mom and dad, and I've got an older sister who's 4 years older, so she played an integral role in my life too. Of course, she tortured me when I was a kid, but
What older siblings don't?
I would say I can feel that.
Is that it, Josh? Is that all you got?
what else do you want to know about my family?
Well, you didn't tell us much. You just said I grew up with my family and they love me, and I got a sister 4 years older than me.
I don't know what else you want to know.
I don't know, man. What'd you do in high school? Did you play sports?
I played football and basketball at Parkway South, which is just down the street from my
Fuck
house.
Parkway South. I went to Seckman.
You know,
Okay.
your listeners aren't going to understand the St. Louis high school rivalry nonsense.
Yeah, well, they'll understand that. But so, what position did you play in football?
I started tight end and D end.
Tight end. I could see the tight end there.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you see that guy?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. See, I tell everybody that Kyle is like my Andy of the Conan O'Brien show. He just kind of keeps me on track. And
Sometimes.
usually if I
Somebody's
forget
got you. That's a
something, he
full-time
comes up with
job,
a question.
Kyle.
Right. He comes up with a question. But I feel like he's not coming up with any questions.
That's
right now.
because normally when we have a guest, you guys normally talk a lot, and I just sit around and maybe chime in just a little because it's about you two. And it's not really about me. It's about you guys' interactions and the stories you guys tell each other.
So why don't you ask him a question, Kyle?
I have asked him a couple
Ask
questions.
him another one.
Okay. What is your favorite Todd Nicely story? We ask everybody this, by the way.
Josh picked just
He
one.
probably doesn't remember because we were wasted.
We were definitely too drunk to remember.
Yeah, so he's going to skip that one.
Okay, well, I don't know what else to ask.
Well, that's a generic question. Ask him something, Kyle.
Okay.
What would you want to know about him if you've never met him before?
Well, I mean, since I've already heard what happened.
Okay, you've already heard what happened, but
Okay.
what would you want to ask him if you kind of knew his backstory? Like, what would you want to know about him?
What would you change about that deployment, that last deployment?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely
That's
nothing.
a fucking generic question.
I
too,
know.
'cause you know we're all going to say the same
I
thing.
know. I knew he was going to
You're
say that
fucking
too.
fired, man. You suck at this.
That's number
job.
2 this time.
God damn
I've
it.
got a question. How about this? I'm gonna flip the script.
Okay.
Oh, he's flipping the
What
script.
would you think if you met me on the street? Would you walk up to me and ask what happened to you?
Oh, that's a good one.
It depends. Now we
Where
just
are you at?
Yeah, where are we at, and what? Like, am I just passing you on the street? Because if that's what we're doing, then no. Because I don't
Say-
talk to anybody on the best of the
Say
street.
we're sitting at a bar on the patio, or I'm sitting at the bar on a patio with some friends, and you're with Todd.
Well, then hell yeah, I'm going to push Todd over there so he can ask you.
No, I mean, I get what he's saying because a lot of times people just stare and look, but it depends. What are you wearing? If you're wearing an army hat or an army shirt, then people might ask questions. But if you're not, then it's hard to tell.
You've obviously never noticed about me that I never wear hats.
Well, yeah, you're bald. Okay, yeah, that was a bad one.
That's an obvious one, Todd.
Oh, no, obvious.
Okay, somebody asked me why I
say you're
don't
wearing
wear
an
hats.
army shirt. Say he's wearing an army shirt and you see him at the bar and you see him get up. What are you going to ask him?
Okay, so there's 2 scenarios here. I either see you, note you in my mind, and just wonder, or I sit there for about 10 minutes waiting for the right time and then come up and ask you about it. And then I would definitely ask you about it if the second scenario occurred. And then I would love to listen to you because I love listening to his stories and his buddy's stories, and I would love to listen to all your stories too.
That makes sense.
That's all you got?
What else do you want me to say?
Well, you're the one who asked the question, man. So I'm waiting for like a response from you.
For example, when I'm out and people see all of my scars that are visible on my head, they're just like I don't. Most of them don't even know what to say, so they're like, I don't want to say speechless, but almost intimidated by the way I look. And
I can see that.
The rest of me doesn't help with the intimidation.
Right. Yeah, I mean the bigness of you does not help with the intimidation.
I mean, if you're sitting down, I think it'd be better. But if you stood up, then just towering over people, yeah, that's very intimidating.
Like I said, that's why I ask you, because with me missing all four limbs, it's kind of a little obvious that I was kind of in some sort of war incident. But you see a lot of people with brain injuries and stuff. That's why I wondered if you were asking the question on you're wearing an army t-shirt or if you're wearing, because there's tons of brain injuries out there, and I'm not taking anything away from your
No,
army
I know
injury.
you're not. I know you're not.
But what I'm saying is like a lot of people just go, oh, maybe he was in a car accident, and they just automatically assume that, and that's unfair.
That's so spot on, Todd, because you would never imagine how many times people would just say, "Oh, car accident, huh?"
Yeah, and that's wrong.
I was in the airport one time when somebody said that to me. I followed them to the next terminal and I said, "Yeah, Baghdad car accident." And then I told them the story before they got on their plane.
But I mean, that's so unfair because people automatically make judgments about what they see and what they do, and we're programmed like that.
Right.
And that's completely unfair. That's why I said if you were wearing an army shirt that said I served or something like that, and people saw that, they would immediately want to do something for you. But because you're not, they assume that it could be any type of injury. For me, most people assume that it was military because I'm missing all four limbs. I mean, how often? I did have a couple people ask me once or twice if I was diabetic or if it happened in a motorcycle accident. But usually I fuck with people too. But it's unfair. Like, why do we got to have a tag that says I was injured in Afghanistan or I was injured in Iraq? You know, and so that's why I was curious what kind of reactions you get when you go out in public.
I think I probably don't think about it too often anymore. For a long time after my injury, I was very cognizant of how people perceived me. Like, what does this person think of me? Or am I going to be okay in this environment?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to be judged if I walk into this room?
Yeah, and that happens.
I had a lot of social anxiety because of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all did. I'm sure you did because, like I said, you're not the same when you come home. You're not. I'm not going to say you're not Josh because you are Josh. To me, you're Josh. You'll always be Josh. To me, I'm always Todd. But people always say you changed after you came home, and I'm like, no, I'm the same. It's just the way people perceive people.
Well, the way you're perceived is true, but I would actually argue back against you on that, Todd, because you're not. How do I want to phrase this?
Go for it, buddy. Just send it. Full send.
You're a dick.
Throughout your life, you experience different things. So say you were in high school and you did something stupid. Say you started drinking when you were 17 in high school.
I was 12.
Okay. So anyway, whatever point you started drinking, that affects the rest of your life. So then we went to combat and we experienced some things, and those experiences obviously left a mark on us.
Right.
Be they physical or psychological. So we came home changed, not the same as the way we went.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I mean, do you feel the same? Because I feel like I'm the same person I was when I left. But maybe that's because I didn't notice the change. I guess it's like having a small puppy and it grows up and then you're like, oh, I guess it is getting big. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I'm the same person I was when I left.
I feel like I'm better than the man I was when I left.
I feel like I'm better, but I still feel like I'm still an asshole sometimes.
Well, of course you are. That goes with being a Marine.
Kyle, don't laugh. You're fired again.
Well, I was actually going to say yes. Yes, you are.
Oh, man. So, all right. We usually do a segment called Would You Rather. It's kind of like on deployment, when you would do fuck, marry, kill, shit like that.
Did you do fuck, marry, kill on deployment?
No,
I didn't think so. It must be a Marine thing.
Oh my!
Crayons were involved.
Because my guys would be on the radio and be like, "Would you rather?" And they'd start naming off names, and you have to pick which one.
Fuck, marry, or kill. Okay, yeah, I know which game you're talking about now. Actually,
right. But we do would you rather.
Yes, we do.
So, would you rather? I don't know how to do this because we don't got the cards. Would you rather stick your arm in a horse's ass and pull out his constipation, or would you rather chew on your fingernails after putting your hand in dog shit?
Chew on my fingernails.
After dog shit? Really? All you had to do is put your arm in a horse's ass, but now you're getting dog shit in your mouth. I like your answer. I'm going with the horse's ass, man.
I agree with Todd. Horse's ass. There's no way I'm sticking my fingers in my mouth after
I did not
talking
expect
shit.
you to pick that one. I definitely did not. I was like, he's definitely gonna pick the horse's ass one because, like, who wants dog shit in their mouth after putting their hand in it?
Well, this is my reasoning. You stick your hand in a horse's ass, what are the odds you're going to get kicked in the nuts?
Oh, that's true.
Not very odd. I mean, people do it all the time.
Yeah, but if he's not ready for it.
Well, you didn't say he wasn't
You're
ready.
right. We didn't give scenarios. So you, went the... But I'm glad you explained yourself.
I'm sorry I was overthinking the game. I should have known better.
Yeah, that's why I love it, because there's no scenarios. It's just, what are you going to do? We do another shot?
Do you want to take another shot? Because he obviously does. He always wants to take another shot.
Well, why not?
All right.
Are you sure? Are your mom going to kill? I don't want to be killed
You
too.
gotta walk down 5 houses, man. If you fall down, walk into the 5 houses.
I will army crawl the 5 houses if you want me to.
Yeah, right. We will
We're
make
so
it.
in trouble.
So we got 3 veterans in the room, an Air Force, an Army, and a Marine. So I want some comments on our Instagram on which one you think would fucking make it the furthest when they were drunk.
Well, obviously it wouldn't be me. I mean, I was in the chair force. So.
Well, you're talking, but you don't have a mic.
Oh, shit, you're
Right, I told you had to carry it. See, that's why you're fucking fired, Kyle. For the 3rd time today, you've been fired. That's a record. Oh, it got quiet for a minute. It's hard to do this sometimes because you got to keep talking to keep people's interest up.
Right.
And it's like draining on the brain sometimes. All right, here we go.
Only
Ready?
for a Marine.
I can't reach it.
Scroll.
All right, that'll probably be our last one.
Yeah, man. You got to drive home. I've got to drive home.
Would you stop talking about people having to drive after we do these podcasts? You're going to get me in trouble.
I lied. We're not driving.
You're right.
Ubering.
I'm taking an Uber.
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking asshole.
Gosh.
Anyway,
Actually, I thought we were going to walk to his mom's house for dinner.
we're going to your mom's
Yeah.
house for dinner?
Yeah.
What's
She wouldn't mind, you know?
What's that?
What's she having?
I don't know yet.
You don't
You
know.
don't
Probably
know?
a salad.
You should call your mom and let her come up here for a minute. How much time we got?
Give me a second.
Oh, God, you're fired again. You're not even on the timer. I'm kidding, Josh. Your mom's not coming over here.
It's 40 minutes.
40 minutes. So we're at 40 minutes. We still got 20 minutes, Josh.
Okay.
Yeah? What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about how sexy you look right now.
That is an appropriate time.
I like making Josh feel uncomfortable.
Does he do this often to you?
It comes naturally to Todd.
Too natural?
Say that.
Mainly for me. Other people don't have that reaction to him.
Yeah.
We're like oil and water.
Why do I make you feel uncomfortable?
You're intimidating.
I'm intimidating. You're a 6'4" man, 230 pounds.
I mean, you're
I'm fucking. Well, now I'm like 5'2", 120 pounds.
You're like a third of machine.
I'm half the man I used to be.
Still a third machine. I mean,
I'm third. It's like not machine. It's just. It's not a machine.
You're intimidating, Todd.
I know. I get that a lot.
Do you really?
Well, no. Like he said, people stare at me at the restaurants and stuff.
Well, I mean,
A lot of people haven't. It was my arm.
I'm sure it was,
It wasn't a fart. It let air out.
But, I mean, you get a lot of stares, Todd, because you have no arms and legs. So,
Right.
I mean,
a lot of people have never seen that before.
yeah. And even when I tell people, they're like, "What? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." Like,
You
I
can
know.
chime in, Josh. We'd love for
Well,
you to talk.
from my perspective and knowing you as long as I have, I'm always fascinated by how much you can do with no arms and no legs.
That is very true.
Well,
I mean, it's not like you ever need help with. Well, I shouldn't say with anything, but
there's times I do.
I mean, prime example. They don't let me drive. You're beautiful.
They
car
let him-
parked in my driveway.
They let him drive too much, that's for sure.
I'm surprised they let me drive.
Yeah, me too.
The way I drive,
I got to
surprised they
say,
let me.
Guy was like, yeah, that was a little bit nerve wracking at first.
Oh man.
We had a gentleman on here, and Todd drove him around in his car, and it was the first time he ever met Todd too, and so he was very nervous in the vehicle with him as he's like flying down these curvy roads.
Well, I live on those curvy roads. I know.
Yeah, but dude, you're a guy with no arms and legs, and you're flying down these roads, and he's never even really known you.
Welcome to meeting Todd.
Yeah, I know.
It's always an adventure.
It's intimidating.
It's not always an adventure. You just never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Oh, that's for sure.
Never know what you're gonna get.
Right. I'm like a box of chocolates. Oh,
I'll pass on those chocolates, thank you.
So here we go. Josh, okay, so you were injured in what year?
2008.
2008. All right. So in 2008, what year did you join?
2002.
2002. So you already had 6 years under your belt before you gone. How many deployments?
2.
2.
What bases were you stationed at?
I was based out of my unit was out of Fort Leonard here in Missouri. I was actually in the Missouri Army National Guard, so I had a.
Oh, okay.
But most of my training and the 35th Engineer Brigade's out of Leonard Wood. So other than stateside at Leonard Wood, the only place I was based was Camp Liberty in Baghdad, and I always hoped I'd make it to another combat theater, but I didn't. Didn't get the opportunity, obviously.
So were you like me and wanted to stay in for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I planned on being in for 20 years.
So, like, I'm going to ask you this, and this might hurt, because for me, that was a tough one to swallow. I'd only done 4 years, and I planned on doing 20, and that's what made me angry for a while. This was what I was good at. I mean, did that upset you, or?
Oh yeah, I didn't know how to deal with it. I said they don't want me anymore. But then at a certain point, you've got to look at the cards on the table and say, I can't play with this hand.
You can't play this hand. You can't play with this set. You can't play with these people in the sandbox anymore. They're in a different sandbox.
Right.
And it sucks.
And for me, I couldn't even carry my service weapon because of my left arm.
Well, right. I don't even think I could carry a service weapon.
I mean, it could be strapped to your back.
I told
Both of
people
you,
they could
actually.
put me in- You know what we should do, Josh? You get a backpack. I'll sit in it. I'll carry the machine gun, and you just walk.
There you go.
We can be like RoboCop together. I'll pull the trigger and shoot, and you just walk.
Have you ever seen that movie? Because there's that doesn't sound like RoboCop at all.
Shut up. Yes, it is, Kyle. I mean, we can make a movie the any way we want it to be.
You're right, but that seems more like was it The Little Rascals with the two kids, on top of each other trying to pretend to be an adult.
We have guns, Kyle. They don't give guns to children.
I said like, not exactly.
Oh, Kyle's the guy who believes we should give guns to children.
Well, that's just words in my mouth that I didn't say.
Yeah, you did. You said it was Little Rascals, and I was in a backpack.
I said it
holding a
was
machine gun.
like Little Rascals.
What do you think about that?
I think children should have guns.
Chime in. This is where I need you to chime in and defend me.
There's nothing to defend,
I was
man.
picking my spot.
Huh?
I'm picking my spot. I'm formulating my thought. It takes me a while with half a brain.
That you used to have.
I'm
sorry,
half
I thought
the man I
yeah, I
used
was
to
saying, I
be,
just
and
thought
you're
it was
half the brain you used to be. If that makes any sense. I laugh at that, but I can because we know each other. Anybody that's listening, don't laugh at that. It's not funny.
Did you have any rituals while you were deployed that you did like every day? Like, Any kind of like mantras or habits that you would do?
Not
Wait,
really.
what's a mantra?
Every time I left the wire in my as the TC of my we call it an RG-31. It's a up armored mine protected vehicle that was developed in South Africa that we use for our route clearance missions. And I was always the truck commander of the first vehicle in the patrol. So every time we would load up and pull out, I would be in the front right, basically the passenger seat of the vehicle, next to the driver. And my buddy that was my team leader on my first deployment in Iraq had volunteered to come out of retirement and go back with me for the second tour. And Brad was sitting right behind me the day I was injured. Every time we left the wire, I would reach my hand over my shoulder and get one final fist bump from him. And he'd say, I'll see you on the other side of the mission. And then that was the last thing he said to me. The day I was injured, Brad was killed in combat.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I appreciate that.
Definitely. I mean, I've lost some few friends too, but
Yeah.
I had some rituals myself that a lot of people don't know about. My ex-wife, I used to have my picture in my sleeve, and I would kiss it every time before I go out and put it back in my left arm sleeve. But that's weird because we all got our own thing, you know, and it's hard to try to explain it to civilians and anyone who's listening how hard it is to go out there, especially when you don't want to. I mean, anyone who says that they want to go get shot at is an idiot. I mean, I guarantee you can tell me the same thing.
Well, I'll say they're an idiot, but I'll also say that I was that guy that wanted to go.
I was too. I put myself out in front of bullets for my guys, though. I didn't want to, but I had to.
Let me ask you this, Ty. Was there ever a point where you felt like you were addicted to the adrenaline rush of combat?
I still live for that adrenaline rush of combat. I'm still trying to find that.
You'll never find that again.
Oh, I know.
No.
I know. I'll never find it again. But I'm trying to. I'm trying to find something that makes me as happy as that.
Well, not only as happy as that, but to feel as alive as you did in those moments.
Well, it's not that you feel... Okay, so to explain this to people, you don't feel alive while you're getting shot at, while the adrenaline is going on. It's when you come back to the fob and you're alive that you go, holy shit, that was fucking awesome.
Well, for me, it was probably different because I was in a safe vehicle and I would get detonated on. My vehicle went over anti-tank mines, so we would just basically roll through a fireball. And I would have that instant realization that I should be dead right now. And then I would go, holy shit, I'm not dead. This is amazing. Let's do it again.
Exactly. That's the whole point. It's like, I should be dead right now, but I'm not. I remember one time I rolled over in a fucking trench and stuck my head up and a fucking bullet hit the tree next to me and I got splinters in my face from the fucking tree and I was like, oh, that was close. I got back down in the fucking trench. I was like, holy shit, I should have been dead right there. I mean, that's the kind of things that you will never feel that people say adrenaline. Yeah, I mean, I've even jumped off of things. I've done parachuting. You can't replace that adrenaline between life and death.
Definitely not. I've chased that also since I've been back home. I went skydiving and didn't touch it.
But it'll get you in trouble when you chase it, won't it?
Well, yeah, well.
Always. I mean,
That's why you got to learn that you'll never find that again and that drug is over. And a lot of the times it's hard for me sometimes to go, because for me, I don't know about you, but when I first got injured, I lived in my Marine Corps career. I lived in it. I was like, I was a Marine. No one will ever understand. And you went through Focus too, didn't you? Mm-hmm. And that's another program that we speak a lot about. But did Focus change the way that you think about things and the way that you do things?
I can't say that it changed a lot for me, but I went through Focus at a remarkably different part of my recovery than most guys go through Focus.
Right.
Because I had already been. I remember when Jay mentioned going to Focus to me, I said, I don't need Focus. First of all, does this guy know I'm not a Marine?
Right.
And then I get there and I realize it's not just Marines. It was a great program. So it definitely changed a lot for me, but it didn't. It did, but it didn't. Because I had already felt like I had made a lot of those connections through my own recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because for me, I had to have focus. If it wasn't for focus, I wouldn't be where I am today. Like, because I was stuck in that Marine mentality where I can do it on my own. I don't need this. I can do it on my own. I don't need this. I don't need help from you. I don't need help from you. I'm going to do it on my own. And all it did was cause me struggles, triumph, and pain. Well, the triumph part, not so much.
I was just going to ask about the triumph part.
Right.
Give me an example of the triumph.
Well, the triumph part was when I did it on my own, but it didn't happen very often because I couldn't do as much as I thought. But it was horrible.
Well, it's hard to explain. Probably hard. We should explain to the listeners a little bit that as combat injured veterans, we come home thinking we can do all these things for ourselves still.
Right.
We want to be as independent as possible.
Well, we think we were the same people as we were.
Exactly. And we come hell or high water, we're going to be that person again.
We're going to try. But sometimes we can't. And that's where I learned to ask for help. I mean, how hard is it to ask for help for you?
I still don't generally ask for help.
I don't either, man. I really don't.
Here you guys are
should.
advocating to veterans to ask for help, and then you guys are like, no, I don't do it often.
I mean, it's
at all.
hard.
You know?
It is. But
No, it is. I understand that.
After a certain point, I've learned, like, listen, I'm not saying that I don't ask for help now. I'm saying that I get to a certain point to where if I can't do it, then I say, okay, help me. But before, I was like, fuck it. It's not getting done. I don't care.
It's not worth asking for help. I'm not going to admit that I'm too weak to do this myself. I'm not going to admit that I can't do it.
Are you doing that right now, though?
Am I?
Yeah.
No.
No, okay, that's what I was
That's
asking.
good then.
Because the way you sounded, when
Yeah.
you came off, it was like you were sounding like you were saying that. But I understand what you're saying now. Like, that's how you feel. It's like, I'm not weak. I'm not doing this. I'm not asking for help. And that's how we both felt, right?
Right. Well, neither of us wanted to feel like we were helpless.
Right. And a lot of times I felt like a burden. Did you not?
Well, definitely.
Exactly. And that's the point is, like, we come home and we're injured and we're not the same people. And now all of a sudden we got to have people helping us all the time. And you start to feel like a burden, like everybody's, but it's like that's how we feel, people. That's not who we are. That's how we feel. Because we were warriors at one time. We were shooting at people. We were
You guys
fighting
still
wars.
are warriors. Like, that's no joke. You guys might think you guys are past warriors, but you guys are still warriors.
We're just injured warriors.
Exactly.
Well, that's not something that goes away.
Exactly. No, it doesn't.
Oh, I guarantee I'll still shoot you in the face if you try to break into my house.
For sure. Not if I stab you first.
I'm not gonna lie. I shot myself in the chest with a revolver. I'm pretty sure I can shoot you in the face with a revolver.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
You better be faster than a cat.
Maybe I am.
I doubt it.
Me too.
I'll just use the cable.
I just looked at Josh's face and it was like, what am I supposed to fucking say here?
I do have a question. So I know that Todd got tricked into going to focus. Were you part of that group that tricked him into going to focus?
I was not.
No, you were not? Okay.
He wasn't tricked. After
No,
I
no,
went to
not him.
Focus-
I'm talking about tricking you into going to
No,
focus.
no,
Because I heard it was like a
I
group
was
of people.
the first one of the group of Focus guys that went to.
Oh, okay.
Or the first
The
one
group
of
of
JCS,
JCS
that
guys
went
that went
to
to
Focus.
Focus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they tricked me into going to Focus.
Yeah, they straight up
And
did.
then
Who's
they
they?
started sending.
That's
all
what
the
I'm
other
wondering.
guys.
I thought you were part of that day.
Was JCS the they?
Huh?
Who was the they?
Huh. You know who the they was.
No, we really
Fucking
don't. Tell us.
Charlie and Matt Cutler and Mabry.
Well, that's That's a good
That's a
group.
power
That's a
group
good
right
group
there.
of they right there, brother.
And for anyone who doesn't know Mabry, he used to play for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he was also a batting coach for the Cardinals. I think he went to Kansas City.
Yeah, he went to Kansas City for a while and was the manager.
Right. So he's a good dude to know. But
Have you heard that story? How they tricked him?
Have I heard it?
Yeah.
No, let's hear it, Todd.
Yeah, let's hear it, Todd.
they told me that I was going to get to drink beer and blow stuff up.
That gets me every time now.
I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go. I got there and they go, that doesn't happen here. I go, son of a bitch. I got fucking swindled.
But you needed it.
You asked me
I-
earlier.
I-
You asked me earlier, Todd, why I chose to join the army.
What?
You asked me earlier why I chose to join the army.
Why?
They told me I could drink beer and blow stuff up.
But I
So
guarantee
you got tricked too.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he got to do it. Did you drink beer and blow shit up?
Hell
No.
yeah!
Exactly.
You drank beer while you were overseas?
No.
No, of course not.
I was gonna say, so you got tricked too then.
Well, he didn't say overseas.
You got so I got tricked into going to Focus. You got tricked into going to the army, and yeah, I'm glad I went into the
I don't know,
Marines.
man. He still drank beer and blew shit up. It just might not have been at the same time.
I don't know if I'd say I was tricked.
Okay, but they told you got to drink beer and blow shit
And
up.
he did.
He got to blow shit up.
And drank beer, just
That's
not while he
true.
was.
That's true. During
Just not
training.
overseas. We did that. We did that at Leonardwood.
Okay, I was thinking that like freaking overseas. Okay.
Now, because I've actually never been deployed, but I've heard that people sneak alcohol over there all the time. Is that true?
Oh yeah, it's available.
No, I want to hear these stories. Thank you.
No.
Well, then I want to hear stories from you.
I'm kidding. Go ahead, Josh.
It's available if you want it. You can get your hands on it.
Did you ever do it?
I did not personally. No, I was too involved in the mission.
Okay.
For us, it was not because we didn't get packages. We lived in houses too far away to get packages.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know if I can believe in any one of you guys right now.
Well, no, I've heard stories of people because they used to open up the boxes and stuff and look at the Listerine bottles. You could buy the brown ones, and you could poke a hole in it, drain it out, and then use a syringe to fill it with Jack Daniels, and then cover it up with super glue, send it out. Bottle of fucking booze.
Oh no, I didn't mean packages from home.
Yeah, I was
there
thinking
was
just
like-
anywhere.
I never found any alcohol in any country I was in.
In Iraq, there were in the markets there was whiskey.
Oh,
People
yeah.
would
Well,
get
in fucking Afghanistan, there was opium and fucking marijuana and Xanax and whatever you could get your hands on.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
there's...
you didn't play those games, right, Todd?
Huh?
You
Yeah.
didn't play those games, right?
Nope, I was in charge.
Now, did you have any calming down tricks? Like, I know he listened to music whenever he got back from the wire.
Yeah,
Did you have anything
we've
to calm
talked
down?
about-
Music was big for me.
Yeah?
I always listened to music.
Did you have a specific song that you enjoyed?
Not specific song. I had playlists that I would listen to that were just kind of calm me down.
Okay.
Did you have one before you went out, too?
I did.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what I'm talking about. Let me guess. Let the Bodies Hit the Floor was on there?
It's bodies, but yeah, go for it.
That's what I said, bodies.
Yeah.
He did say bodies.
He said, "Let the bodies." That's
Let
not
the bodies hit the
That's
floor.
the song is called "Bodies," though.
I'm just saying I was singing the song, Kyle.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
fired again.
You fired me for nothing this
But
time.
let me guess, that was on the playlist?
It was.
Yeah, everybody had that one on the playlist.
That's a great song, actually.
Well, especially if you're getting ready to
Heck
go
yeah.
out and shoot people. I mean, you gotta-
Then, what kind of music would you listen to on your playlist for your calm down period?
I had some jazz on there just to
Really?
kind of relax.
Okay.
jazz, really? I don't see him as a jazz guy.
Well, that's because you're judging him by the cover.
Right.
You know?
You are completely right. I'm judging him as a 6'4", 230-pound man.
Brick House.
Yeah, brick house. Stacked brick house. I think we're making him uncomfortable right now.
I
Am I
agree.
blushing? Yeah.
Yeah, he's really red. His head is like red too. But I think we're reaching that point to where we're gonna kind of call this a night. Josh, you got anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to say?
I think we covered it all.
Yeah, you think so? Oh, I'm sure there's more. I'm sure you'll be back.
Oh, I'm
If you
sure.
insist, I'll come back.
Oh, if I insist.
You insist and bring the screwball.
I'll bring more screwball. Trust me, that's our thing.
Screwball. We're trying to get sponsored by them, and so we have to say that screwball was delicious.
Screwball. Yeah, just say it for me, Josh. Say screwball was delicious.
Screwball was delicious.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to run this down. Here's a list of organizations that have helped me out throughout my way, and then after that, I'm going to throw it to Josh for organizations that might have helped him for any veterans that are out there listening. I'm going to go with JCS, Joshua Chamberlain Society. Then we're going to go Tunnels to Towers. They build homes for helpless veterans and all that stuff. Gary Sinise does the same thing. Then we're going to go with Semper Fi Fund. They help do... I lost my train of thought. Anyway, Semper Fi Fund. And then you have Champ Dog Assistance. They gave me a dog to help me with my needs. He's a service dog. And then we have... Here's a big one that most people don't know about. There's something called the Veterans Curation Program. And the Veterans Curation Program actually brings veterans in to give them job skills. And you get paid for it, people. Go find it out. Go find it, veterans. Go look for it. There's a tons of resources. There's tons of fucking people you can find. You just have to dig for it if you want it. Am I leaving it? Oh, yeah, I'm leaving out Warfighter Engaged. They build
Gaming rigs
for people who still want to game and can't seem to do it, for injured veterans. Anyone else, Kyle?
No, that's all I can really think of too.
Okay.
Oh, Focus. Did you mention Focus?
I'm going to take it to Josh. Josh, do you have any organizations that could help veterans?
Joshua Chamberlain Society here in St. Louis, or in Nashville, or in Houston.
There you go.
I've got Focus Marines here in St. Louis.
Focus. Oh, I forgot Focus.
I was mentioning that actually, but
I got so many of them, I forget.
Now, if anybody, for some reason, because we have a very small following right now, wants to get a hold of you, Josh, how would they do that? Where could they find you? Could they find you on like Instagram or Facebook?
I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram.
What about Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter either.
Okay, how would they find you on Facebook then?
No, don't do that. And he doesn't want to give out his personal Facebook.
Okay, well then that's acceptable. Well, he's going to be.
I don't want to give out my personal Facebook.
That's fair, but he is.
You just search my name on Facebook.
That's true.
But they don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, IT.
So go ahead. If
you want to, but eventually he will. Because you're about to become a celebrity with your book, right? So you're going to need a tag for Instagram and Twitter and Facebook,
like your own. Start doing all that shit
one of these days,
or pay somebody
else.
He's
like, fuck you guys, I ain't doing that shit. I don't want no one to know about me.
Just read your book.
My publisher
right?
wants me to have a website. I'm like, I don't know about that.
You have to, man.
Yeah,
I
really
thought the same thing. Like I was like, I do not want people to find me, and then I started doing this and streaming on video games and stuff, and I had to have a stream, Instagram,
Twitter.
This sucks. My head exploded. All right, so then if Josh has nothing else, I'm going to give it back to Kyle on where you can find When Does the Fuckery End. So here we go.
You can find us on Twitter or Instagram and also on YouTube, and it is When Does the Fuckery End, all one word, and fuckery is FKRY.
And that's the end, folks. We'll see you next time.